walking on velvet green, Scotch pine growing. Isn't it rare to be taking the air, singing, walking on velvet green? That's an attempt at the intro. It's pretty much keyboard, but that's the intro to Velvet Green. Today we're looking at an amazing song, one of my favorite tall tracks of all time from Songs from the Wood album. It's an amazingly complex song, very sophisticated, very difficult to play and sing at the same time. I love the lyrics to this song, one of my favorites, definitely. So this song comes in many parts, as you probably know, and I'm going to show you each part. I was playing the intro there, which is primarily keyboard, once again, but there are some guitar parts in there, playing some of the melody. But I'm going to break that down. I'm going to break down the verse, I'm going to break down the bridge, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that instrumental thing that's in the middle. And hold on to your hats. Here we go. Velvet Green. All right, so the intro, which I'll show you, it starts on E minor, and then we're playing that melody on top, and then we're going to a D chord with a third in the bass, and that's our melody on top. And now this is really an E minor chord with a third in the bass, but I'm not playing the A string. I'm just muting it, and I'm playing those strings. And then that's going to be our melody coming down. All right, we're to there. And when we get to this note, we're going to play the open A string with it. And then we're going to a B major kind of major interval here. And then we're going to do a very fast pull off, hammer on pull off. Now I think probably the actual notes are that, but that's just so much easier, and it's so fast you won't hear it. So I think that's why I'm playing it this way. It's just easier. We're just repeating that first part. So we're going to play the G string, and that's going to be our melody coming down. See, we're playing the same A and B triad. And then we're back to the E. And I'm referencing all these chords to the capo. So this is going to be E minor, although we know it's a G minor, really. You know, A minor, C. I'm going to call them by the reference to the capo. And then we're going to walk up those notes, and we're going to change to a major tonality here, because we're going to go to an A major chord, and that's going to be our melody. Going to an E major chord, and that's our melody. And now we're going to come down to, it's really a D major chord, but we're just playing the bottom major triad, or major interval. And that's going to be our melody. And then we're just going to come down with that interval. We're going to finish the phrase like that. And then we play that phrase. And we get to that little motif, which is based on the E minor chord. What I do is when I come out of I fret the B minor chord like this and play those notes. And then you're going to go up back to the bass string, play that note. So the first is, so we're just walking up that bass and play those notes. And then that's the end of that phrase. So if we look at that motif again, and here's where we start the main riff. We're playing it an octave higher than we will in the main part of the riff, but it's the same. All right, so when we play it the first time, then we interject that. We interject that again. And we just repeat that riff again before going down and playing it octave lower on the bass strings. So if we come out of that motif once again, and then we switch down and play the main part of the riff down here. So I'll slow that down. All right, so that's the main part of the riff before it gets to the verse. And boy, the verse is, man, tough to sing and play at the same time. So once again, my vocal is not in tune. It's probably not in time. I'm just using it as a place marker for the notes that you want to play on the guitar. So yeah, when we come out of that riff, he starts the verse immediately coming out of that riff. Walking on velvet green. All right, so what we're doing there is we're playing most of this on the upper. We're going to be playing 2 strings at a time mainly. But we're skipping up. This is an E minor chord that we're playing against. So if you accidentally brush some of these strings on the top, it's okay because it's E Then we're going to an A power chord. Walking on velvet green. Now we're going to go to a B major chord, but we're only going to play that lower interval. So that's going to be the next little phrase after. Before we go up, and I'll just reference the vocal in there a little bit again. Walking on velvet green, Scotch pine growing. And now we're going to go up to it. It's really an E major chord, but we're playing only these two notes of it. And we're going to play that melody. And then we're going to go to an A major chord, doing the same thing. Walking on velvet green, Scotch pine growing, isn't it rare? Okay, we're to there. And we're just going to be coming back down those same notes. All right, so that's how the guitar part goes. So I'll try to, once again, try to put the vocal in there. Walking on velvet green, Scotch pine growing, isn't it rare to be taken the air, singing, walking on velvet green. And we're ending really on an A sus2 chord, but I'm not going to play the bass note, not going to play the A string, just the top 4 strings of that sus2. Lit green. So we repeat that riff to get back into the second verse. Walking on velvet green, distant cows lowing, never a care, with your legs in the air, loving, walking on velvet green. All right, so those are all the verses. Just repeats that. And then we go back into the riff before getting to the bridge. We end on that E minor. And then we do an upstroke, his signature upstroke, to get into the G power chord. And then on this, we're going to be going back and forth between the G power chord and fretting the E string with our thumb, and then the A string here with our index finger. So it kind of makes it F tonality. We're going to go back and forth between these, but we're leaving our fingers planted up here on the top 2 strings on the 3rd fret above the capo. So we're going to be going back and forth between those. Won't you have my company? Yes, take it in your hands. And it's really important to get the, where he hits the accents. Company, yes, take it in your hands. And then a signature upstroke again. Take my company, yes, take it in your hands. Go down on velvet green with a countryman who's a young girl's fancy and an old maid's dream. Tell your mother that you walked all night on velvet green. Alright, so what we're doing there is when we get to tell your mother, we're going to a B flat. Tell your mother that you F walked all night, C on velvet green. And then we're going back to the G. But listen to the rhythm of that. Tell your mother that you walked all night on velvet green. We're going to tap the body of the guitar before we hit the G power chord again. Tell your mother that you walked all night on velvet green. So we tap the guitar before we play that G. Tell your mother that you walked all night on velvet green. Now I'll just you'll just have to feel that part, because he hits the G, does an upstroke, goes down once again to the F sort of chord here, and then the rhythm of that is da 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 da, and then back to the G power chord. Tell your mother that you walked all night on velvet green. One dusty half-hour's ride up to the north, there lies your reputation, all that you're worth, where the scent of wild rose turns the milk to cream. Tell your mother that you walked all night on velvet green. Alright, so all that part is just that same repeated over and over. Alright, so that little instrumental part in the middle that he counts in because it's a different tempo. Crazy, these guys, man, so complex. But anyway, coming out of but think not of that, my love, I'm tied against the seam. What a great lyric, right? But think not of that, my love, I'm tied against the seam, and I'm growing up to meet you down on velvet green. What a way to say you're getting a Woody. That's amazing. Think of not that love, I'm tied against the seam, and I'm growing up to meet you down on velvet green. And then he counts the band in 1, 2, 3, 4 for that middle part. So this is going between a C and a B flat. And then he does plays sort of a melody that's like the opening. So then, yeah, he plays a melody that's similar to the opening motif. And that's based on da 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 da. So you're going between C, B flat, C, and G. Da 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 da. Except he's switching to a major modality here. And that's the melody. And then we're going to A, and we're going to be doing the same thing between A and G that we were doing here. Except now we're doing it in A. And then he comes in with that melody. So that's being played over. He kind of shortens, man. They change it up. They shorten the time between the two chords when he comes back to that. And now we're going up to B, and we're going to be doing the same thing between B and A now. And then we're going to do that same melody that we did in A. So it's the same melody that we did in A. So it's a little bit hard to tell what the chords are doing exactly when it gets back to the B, but it's something like... So it's just going from B, A, down to G. So he does that twice, and this one 3 times. And then just repeats the opening. So he changes it up a little bit, comes up with the melody. So it changes it up just a little bit there. And then once he repeats that intro, so he starts off on E, and then comes up here to D, sus2, and then C sus2, B flat sus2, back to G, and then goes back and forth between that, G and F sort of tonality. So and then he's back into the singing that second part. Now let me tell you that it's love and not just lust. And if we live the lie, let's lie and trust. Oh, golden daffodils to catch the silver stream that washes out the wild oat seed on velvet green. All right, and then coming out of that, then when he sings that last part, as you walk on, he goes back into the opening riff, as you walk on home on velvet green. It just goes back into that riff. It's a little bit, he mixes it up a little different. He repeats the riff twice, and then he does that opening sort of motif that... and then back into the verse. Walking on velvet green, Scotch pine growing. Isn't it rare to be taking the air, singing, walking on velvet green? All right, and then just repeats the next verse, and then it outros on that, finishes on that opening riff, and then just ends on an E minor chord. All right, that's Velvet Green. Wow, what a complex song, right? So yeah, incorporate as much of that into the arrangement that you want to play, and have a good time with Velvet Green.